mankind survives the oil era. From year 2200 to 2300, the end of the 2nd century marked the highest level of environmental destruction of planet Earth. The planet was unrecognizable. It seemed lost forever, wounded to death, and we did it. After having experienced a glimpse of what it could have been our future, we were near to succumb to our stupidity. We stripped Earth naked, consuming everything it has accumulated in billions of years, from life to mineral resources, from air and water, to its soil. What was left has been poisoned and made unusable until nothing remained. The level of destruction caused to Mother Earth has been immense, and the destructive forces that we unleashed were very difficult to contain and revert. However, new positive forces were also at work, alleviating the pressure of our presence on the planet. The technological development and the death of 3/4 of the human population started to have a noticeable effect. The new way of producing food, new sources of energy, the end of the oil era. The new manufacturing technologies, space colonization, and mining have been key to revert the trend of destruction. From that moment, Earth started a slow and gradual recovery, and, with it, human population too. Technology seemed to be able to keep us alive and save the planet. However, the recovery process would have taken centuries and a monumental effort for humanity. In the largest project ever undertaken by humanity, the natural world was restored to its pre-industrial state. Carbon dioxide levels started dropping, and combined with other means of climate control, we managed to stop global warming first, and reverted later. With temperature dropping and climate being stabilized, vast areas of forest and grassland were cleaned, replanted, and repopulated, with many extinct species brought back to life, having saved their DNA centuries earlier. After 300 years of struggle and devastation that wiped out all large animals, together with 76% of the human population, and after another 600 years of recovery efforts, it could be said that humanity survived the oil era. Human population remained below 2 billion for centuries, and only by year 4100 it reached again the peak caused by oil. But this time, the population was distributed in multiple planets and space colonies. The reinstatement of the ocean's currents and reoxygenation has taken several centuries, but before the end of the 3rd millennium, they were back to life. It took mankind just 200 years, with a rudimental technology, to destroy the planet and almost become extinct, while it took 3 times longer to repair the damage by using very advanced technologies and the support of artificial intelligence. Saving Earth environment and saving ourselves marked one of the most important achievements of humanity, and made mankind mature for the next level of evolution. We deserved to move forward because we also managed to develop wisdom and embrace ethical principles needed to handle our technologies. The 3rd century marked the end of the unsustainable technological development era. We have managed to survive the transition from level 4 to level 5 in the scale of evolution. We made it, but this was the closest call we ever had, risking the complete annihilation. From that moment we never risked so much again. Our survival has been considered by many a miracle, the most improbable, unexpected and fortunate event in history. This near miss constituted the most valuable lesson learned for our civilization, which we never forgot since. This experience had also a very important secondary effect. Saving planet Earth has been the driver to develop the technologies necessary to alter and control climate at planetary level. This capability has been extremely valuable once applied to other celestial bodies. The terraformation of Mars, Venus, and, later on, other extrasolar planets, has been the key of our survival in the long run. Mankind transcends biology. At the beginning of the 4th century, 300 years after the information technology revolution, almost every aspect of the world affairs were controlled by superintelligent entities formed by millions of inorganic minds. The medium known as the Internet evolved from a network of information and communication to a network of minds, the MindNet. The ability to clone any mind and load its content into a synthetic support allowed minds to be fully detached from the body and be immersed and conscious within a digital environments. Humanity was more and more diversifying in new different species and races, initially categorized as follows: mortal, fully biological humans, called natural humans, everyone until an age of 20 years. Mortal, mechanically augmented humans, with mechanical implants, improving material and sensorial enhanced performances. No brain augmentation. Humans, called transhumans, able to live indefinitely, with augmented brains, via implants, improving memory and computational performances, able to learn by simply uploading information. Immortal, fully synthetic humans, called post-humans, that have chosen to upload their mind into artificial brains at the end of their biological life cycle. The first 2 groups could live and compete with each other, since the differences were compatible. The 3rd group was not uniform within itself. It ranged from a little more than a fully natural human being to an almost fully synthetic one. It was a group of transition. More and more people were transitioning from the first group into the next 2. The entire process of transitioning from one group to the next one had the huge risk of ripping apart and destabilize our society and civilization, creating conflicts if not properly governed, and if not made acceptable to the vast majority of the human population. First of all, there was natural limit of how many people could transit from one group to another. The main limitation was that all people were born in Group 1. As they grow older, they started to receive augmentations, if they wish to. Mind cloning and upload into a fully synthetic organism was allowed only after the end of the natural life cycle. Seen from an individual point of view, people's life, up to a certain age, was not too different from the past. People grew up normally until 20 years of age, when the first augmentations were allowed. People got married and created families, as they always did, having children in a perfectly normal way. As people grew older, they could die, but they also could receive improvements of their body and brain. Artificial augmentations were progressively made available through the lifespan. The fully transhuman synthetic condition could be granted only after severe scrutiny to ensure that moral and psychological requirements are met. The first augmentations were aimed to improve learning ability in order to speed up the education process. Memory implants and brain interfaces that allowed learning through direct uploads were the first to be implanted in young people. In this way, the world maintained its human and organic connotation, and only with aging, people progressively augmented themselves. Having gradual improvements linked with the aging process was fundamental in order to maintain social cohesion and a sense of normality. The development of better performances linked with age is a natural condition for humans, and we were used to it. Mature people have better performances compared to kids and adolescents. The main difference with the natural process of aging was that instead of seeing young people catching up with their parents and eventually surpass them, in this new society, the dynamic was different. As people grew older, their biological performances degraded, but their artificial augmentations produced a general improvement. At a certain point, parents and children reached the same performances and stabilized indefinitely. Access to a post-human condition was heavily scrutinized because it provided immense power. Not everyone qualified for it. Only old, wise and moral persons with a perfect track record could be authorized for mind cloning and uploading, achieving perpetual life. Mind merging and the civilization intellect. By year 2280, the technology was ready to merge multiple minds into a collective intellect. Mind cloning and uploading into synthetic brains and bodies has been undergoing for more than 100 years, and by the end of the century, 20% of the human population was composed by post-humans. Once the capability to upload the mind into an artificial support is achieved, the next step was to connect and merge two or more minds through the mind net, sharing thinking power, knowledge, and experiences in real time. After mind cloning, we entered in the realm of mind merging. The main difficulty of mind merging was to figure out how two or more minds could be merged, maintaining self-awareness as separate individuals. Experiments have been going on for decades, until a viable solution was found, maintaining an unchanged sense of self, while sharing the mind with millions of other beings. At that point it became possible to synchronize all minds connected through the mind net. The mind net synchronization produced such a magnification of the individual mental power that people spent most of their time in synchronization mode. However, people could disconnect at any time, returning to their private inner world. It was mandatory for post-humans to synchronize their minds through the mind net from time to time, in order to share ideas with anyone else, and preventing the use of this power in a negative way. Mind merging was a necessary measure to avoid individual selfish or illegal acts perpetrated by synthetic humans that could represent a great danger for everyone else due to their immense power. Artificial intelligence was also interconnected and synchronized through the mind net, if designed for this purpose. In this way, artificial intelligence was kept at check and controlled. The collective power of post-humans and artificial intelligence was immense. The mind-merged network became the engine room of human civilization, providing guidance and extreme performances in all fields. We created a civilization intellect, a supermind, across billions of individuals and across the cosmos. Our civilization could finally think, act, be identified and represented in a unified way, as a single entity, and not as a multitude of entities, often in conflict with each other. The emergence of the civilization intellect was an incredible achievement for humanity, an achievement that, as we found out later, represents a necessary and well-defined step in the evolution of intelligent life, and the evolution of the universe in more general terms. The civilization intellect was a major step in the way of integrating the faculties, intents, and capabilities of all beings that composed our civilization, and, as the time passed, humanity looked more and more having a mind on its own. I have chosen to synchronize and merge my mind with anyone else through the mind net in year 2292, at 329 years of age. The experience has been overwhelmingly powerful, escalating and elevating my conscious mind to an entire new level. The thinking power was immense, having access to almost 500 million minds, counting with the unlimited availability of knowledge and experiences accumulated by our entire civilization through history. All minds were synchronized, communicating directly from brain to brain. Anyone could think together with anyone else, or in larger communities. For important aspects, the entire population of merged minds was called for shared thinking. Another property of mind merging through the mind net is that the mind is continuously backed up, guaranteeing immortality, unless a cataclysm at a galactic scale occurs, destroying completely the network. As the oldest person and the first of my age to join the mind-merged community, I have been officially declared the oldest man on Earth and the first one to have reached a perpetual life and potential immortality. Many more have joined the merged mind net before, but no one was older than me. Therefore, I became the first immortal man. The first man who won't die. Artificial matter By the end of the century, technologies at the scale of quadrillionths of a meter became possible. These were 3 orders of magnitude smaller than picotechnology and 6 orders of magnitude smaller than nanotechnology. The structure and properties of individual atoms could be altered via manipulation of subatomic particles by replacing them with different kind of particles, enabling the production of new exotic atoms. As a result, new materials have been created with properties engineered for specific uses, called artificial matter. It can be said that, from this moment, mankind really started to play God with matter as a creator, and not as a simple manipulator of what already existed. There was nothing we couldn't create, from life to matter with new properties. We could create matter with anti-gravity properties by using antiparticles. These materials had a negative weight, and therefore a repulsive effect versus conventional matter. An object made of anti-gravitational matter would fly away from the surface of the planet into space. By combining normal matter with anti-gravitational matter, we could obtain one of the most useful property of artificial matter, the so-called gravitational transparency. Gravitational transparent materials don't generate a gravitational field. They are gravitationally neutral. Not affected by gravity, they are weightless. The applications were endless, but perhaps one of the most useful application was the construction of vehicles and structures gravitationally neutral. We could build structures hundreds of kilometers tall, reaching space. And very light vehicles, where the only lifting work the engines are required to do was to overcome the payload weight and mass. But perhaps the most important application of anti-gravity matter was to use it as a gravitational shield, allowing macroscopic objects to go through gravitational lenses without being ripped apart by the immense gravitational pull generated by the rotating black holes, making finally possible for spacecrafts to travel through the hyperspace. Only after having invented anti-gravitational materials, we could scale up the gravitational lenses, building space portals large enough for spacecrafts to go through them. This has been the key to colonize the universe, enabling faster than light travel. Search for intelligent life across the universe. While the human transformation was taking place, and huge research efforts were concentrated in making possible to quickly move and communicate across the universe, we started colonizing our solar system, ensuring our survival in case of losing our home planet. Finally, humanity could embark on long space travels aimed to find life and new homes across a region of about 100 light-years in radius. This radius kept growing as technology created ever faster spaceships built to host post-humans able to live in space indefinitely. Targets were selected by means of new super-powerful instruments built at unimaginable scale. Beside the mere need to expand our reach through the universe, we were engaged in a quest of fundamental importance, aimed to finally answer the most important question of all times. Are we alone? Answering this question proved to be exceptionally hard, however the reward was of great significance, having the potential to provide the meaning of our existence, and the existence of any other living being in the universe. By year 2200, the first probes, sent to the closest stars, 50 years earlier, reached Alpha Centauri, Barnard Star and Wolf 359. At the beginning of the 2nd century, a new wave of probes traveling at 50% the speed of light have been sent to objects located within a radius of 50 light-years, with expected arrival in year 2300. However, we had to wait another 50 years to receive any feedback from them, due to the limitation of the speed of light. By year 2250, the new cross-universal technology allowed probes to be equipped with entangled communication devices, eliminating the time lost waiting for their signals to reach Earth once arrived at their final destination. In this way, by year 2350, we probed and received feedbacks from all targets located within 100 light-years from Earth, a total of 500 systems, and about 50,000 bodies able to sustain an atmosphere. By undergoing this massive effort in search of intelligent life, we had also to address a very important aspect related to the approach to be used in dealing with other civilizations if encountered. What should we do in case of a finding? Should we manifest ourselves? We came to the conclusion that we shouldn't interfere with the evolution of other civilizations or intelligent beings in general. An interaction with a more evolved civilization could disrupt the evolutionary path of other beings, destroying the value add generated by evolution. An independent evolution is essential in order to develop the wisdom, ethic, and abilities necessary to survive. We have decided that our existence should be kept completely hidden from less evolved civilizations, and this approach had to be maintained especially in case a civilization is in need of help. Rescue them from extinction would undermine the purpose of selective evolution of intelligent life across the universe. Rescue destroys evolution. The same rules once used by dealing with wild animals on Earth apply between civilizations. Natural selection has to work out who is fit for survival. We also realize that this approach is the most logical for any advanced civilization engaged in the search for life through the universe. If this is true, it could explain why we haven't been contacted or visited by any more advanced civilization so far. Stealth techniques have been developed to hide our presence to any civilizations encountered. After more than 300 years from the beginning of the search for extraterrestrial intelligent life, with some disappointment, we couldn't even yet find any evidence of primitive life beyond our solar system. However, this was expected, since there were no Earth-like planets within 100 light-years from Earth. The closest Earth-like planet was Site 209, located at 175 light-years from Earth, and with the current technology, we would have reached it not earlier than year 2550. Our quest for life in the universe was still at its infancy, and we started to realize that the knowledge of how much of it is out there was one of the most valuable piece of knowledge that a civilization could have, considering its significance and the enormous effort and time necessary to acquire it.